Hi there, it's Albert Luck again from luckymaths.co.uk. This is the work solutions to paper 1C, the non-calculator version, where I'll be going through certain questions, looking at some of those mastery techniques, using the ratio table or bar model to possibly present a question slightly different to our work solutions. So on the first page, we've got an opportunity maybe on question 2 to draw a ratio table to show 1 litre is 1,000 ml. Therefore, 2 litres, 2,000 and half a litre is 500. Just to confirm why 2.5 litres is 2,500 millilitres. Question 6. Now, of course, there's lots of different ways to do this, and some students may just use column addition. When it comes to multiple packets or items, I've chosen just to look at the crisps. 1 is 90p, 2 crisps will be 180. So again, 3 will be 270, and 1 chocolate bar at £2.10 gives us 2 chocolate bars at 420. Obviously, you've then got to do the addition and subtraction at the end anyway, so it's just making sure that you haven't got any incorrect values, you're taking forward. The frequency tree again, because that's addition subtraction, I'm not going to use any of the visual methods for that. Coordinates, just wanted to touch upon, sometimes with a midpoint, you might benefit from joining the points together and then being able to visualize where is the middle. So I've just highlighted that red dot at -1, 3. So an alternative way to present the midpoint here. Ratio question again, I'm a big fan of bar models. 13 to 7, blue to green. So firstly, the fraction of blue counters is going to be 13 out of 20 because I've drawn out 20 boxes. To do the percentage question, of course, there's a few different ways here. You could basically, 7 over 20, if you multiply by 5, you will get 35 over 100. However, if we look at the bar model, we've got 100% split into 20 boxes, so each box is basically worth 5%. So just to confirm why that is 35%. Question 11, alternative way to do the median sometimes without adding the two numbers in the middle. Sometimes you might be able to just look at them, in this case 38 and 40, and go, oh, halfway between those two, oh, it's 39. Okay, without having to do more work. Okay, so for this question, big one, 5 marks. Because there's a ratio element in there, we've started with a bar model and drawn out 4 boxes. So from that, hopefully we can clearly see the breakdown of how many boys and girls there are. So it should be hopefully obvious that 90 boys. And because we know 1/6 of them play football, I can take the 90 boys, and split them into 6 parts. That's the bar model. Below that, with 15 in each box, because 1/6 of 90 is 15, so we know 15 boys take football. I've used a ratio table then to break down what we started with. So the 90, 10% of that would be 9, and double that is 18. So 20% of the boys, 18 boys therefore take swimming. And then I've used a little bar model below that just to show the 15 and the 18 is 33, leaving us with 57 boys who therefore take drama. Okay, I've spoken in previous videos about the speed, distance, time questions being done using a ratio table. So 48 miles per hour, as we can see, is 96 miles in 2 hours, and therefore would be 24 miles in half an hour. So if we put together the 2 and the 0.5, the 96 and 24 together means it's 120 miles in 2.5 hours, which helps us obviously with part B, because if a train is traveling at 60 miles per hour, they will travel 120 miles in 2 hours. Right, decimal division. So I've chosen to obviously write out a very big ratio table, but ultimately all I'm doing in that ratio table is doubling and then times it by 10. So you can see if we start 1 lot, 2 lots, 4 lots, 10, 20, 40, 100, 200, 400. Now, the trick to this question is all about looking at the lower numbers. And if we've got to get 387.2 in total, we'd look at, well, for a start, sorry, I'm going to ignore the last column because 400 lots is 640, so that's too big. So I'd start with, the 200 lots, which is 320. Then I'd be thinking to myself, right, 320, if I add 64 to that, because that's the 40 lots, suddenly we're at 384, very close to our target, and that just leaves a further 3.2 to take. So looking at the numbers circled on the top, 200 lots, the 40 lots, and the 2 lots is why that is 242 lots of 1.6. And finally, even percentage change can be done using a ratio table, because if a tablet is £180, if it goes down by £18, that's essentially saying it's gone down by 10% of its value. Now, most students here would work out the difference between the numbers and write down that that's a £45 difference, but I think most students would write therefore 45% and get confused with what the difference in the price is, not necessarily the percentage loss. So in this question, yes, every £18 lost is 10%. And again, on that ratio, that means £36 lost is equivalent to 20%. And half of 10%, as we know, 5%, half of 18 is 9. 36 plus 9 just happens to be 45. So 20% and 5% means this was a 25% loss. So again, and some really good uses of the ratio table bar models for a lot of these problem-solving questions. Thanks for watching.